In this story, they're talking about the prices and why are they so high. Let's see what they have to say.
Are people who own Pilates studios okay? Are you guys are actually charging $45, $42 for a singular class? I don't want any comments either, like if you're broke, just say that. Like there's a difference between spending money on yourself versus spending frivolous amounts of money. $42 a class? Like no way. Are you paying $42 for an hour that's not even private coaching? No. I love Pilates. I think it's a great workout. I'm like, let me get back into it. I'm going to look at a few different studios.
$42 is wild to me because I'm cheap. They call me broke all they want, but you got to come back over and over more times out of the week. I'd rather spend it on food, but that's just me.
There is one studio that charges like $45 for a drop-in class, which is crazy. But then when you join the membership, the classes become like $15 to $17. Okay, fine. I don't think that's too much. I can live with that. I looked at another studio. When you buy the membership, it is like $35 a class to $38 a class. Let me show you the prices. This is gross. Okay, so you have $42 for a drop-in class. And if you don't get there within 6 months, it expires. You're not getting your $42 back. Wild. $200 for 5 classes. So if I sign up for 5 classes, I get a $2 discount on the classes. Sick. And if I buy 10 classes, I pay the low price of $38 a class. But then if you look at the bottom, they literally want $720 for 20 classes. That's $36 a class. Now for the worst part. If you want to get a membership for $140 a month, you can come to the studio 4 times. Now, mind you, right? You buy a membership for a month and they only bought like 8 reformers, okay? Because that's all they could buy. And they all fill up. So you have to now take your schedule, move it around, try to get into a class. If you miss one, let's say you can only get into 3 classes a month. Now you just paid $140 for 3 classes a month. So if you can make your 4 classes a month, it's $35 a class. And if you can't make your 4 classes a month and you only make 3, it's going to be $46 a class. And I guarantee you they're not going to roll it over. Now, if you'd like, we'll be so kind as to give you a membership for $264 a month where you can come 8 times a month. 8 times a month. That way your classes are only $33 every single time you go. $33. Let's say you miss 2 classes in that month and you can only go to 6 that month, but guarantee you again that they're not going to roll over. Then they'll be $44 a class. Do you see where we're going with this? Classes should be like 16, 17. This is insane. And then for $360 a month, you can come 12 times. So it's not even half of the month, okay? You can come 12 times, and then it'll just be $30 a class. No problem. We'll take care of you. Now, I'm not at all saying...
Y'all, that's a car note, like for a lot of people. $360 for 8 classes? I think that's what she said. Gym membership, because you can get that for the whole year.
That like Pilates teachers aren't like trying and working hard and like doing all these things, or that the studios aren't expensive to start, but like come on, you guys are making it not only so inaccessible for literally everybody, but what a waste of money. The people I know who are the wealthiest drive a Toyota. They have a membership to Planet Fitness.
I have a Toyota.
Just wasting money. That is a waste of money. Oh, like you're investing in yourself. I understand. But there's no way, unless you're like going to the actual 12 classes a month or going to a little bit more, that it's gonna be worth it. Like you don't see results from singular classes. And when they're $40 a drop-in, like if you do 3 classes a month as a drop-in, that's $120. Like you guys are losing your minds. I am sorry if this offends you, but this is whack. This is insane. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel her. I really do. That's really excessive.
People who own Pilates studios, okay?
Yes, those people are okay, and they're probably better than ever. And if you did not watch that video, she was talking about how it was like $42 to do a drop-in class at a Pilates studio. Those Pilates studios that charge higher prices, it's on purpose because they only want to attract a certain caliber of client. They don't want just anybody coming into their studio. The pricing is literally to attract the right person that they want. The purpose of that pricing is so the average person looks at it and says, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm never going there. But for a certain caliber of client, they're going to be more attracted to it specifically because of the price. Pilates studios like that, they do do not want to attract everybody. They don't want anybody that can just drop in. They only want a specific kind of person in their studio. It works all the time for that very specific caliber of client. The same concept as high-end luxury. Louis Vuitton, they have expensive bags. They don't want just a regular person coming in and being able to spend $2,000 on a bag. Also the same concept as Planet Fitness being $10 a month and then Equinox being like $200 or $300 or Lifetime being like $200. I don't know. Pricing is on purpose to attract a specific person.
Are you guys are actually charging $45, $42 for a singular? Now this is a damn shame. Y'all are out here in these streets with your pocketbooks out when my classes are free on YouTube. Are people who own
Y'all remember her from Love is Blind? I think that's what it was. That's Raven.
Pilates studios okay?
Hi, 13-year Pilates instructor here, and this is the exact reason I did not open a Pilates studio. Now, I was about 8 years into business when I sat down and mapped it out with a business partner and said, okay, let's do this, but it doesn't add up on paper because the amount you have to charge to be able to cover your basic bills, pay your instructors, and if you're lucky, make a profit is astronomical. So this creator is not wrong for talking about how expensive Pilates is. However, I think it's just getting more light because Pilates has become so much more popular. So how do you take Pilates without breaking the bank? You got to do it online. I created an app for this exact reason because during the pandemic, I realized how many more people could have access to Pilates when I was able to show up, create videos, and then make those videos available. And I even decided to launch an app, which was nuts. I thought it was crazy. It's been less than a year. However, there's over 500 people in this app that are loving the accessibility that they have to Pilates at home for many reasons. You don't have to drive anywhere. Even if you could drive somewhere, you might not have anything nearby that's a Pilates studio. And then of course, the most important is the cost. You guys, you are saving so much money by doing Pilates at home. Now, it's different than in person. You're not going to get quite as much one-on-one. However, with a good Pilates instructor, you're going to think like you're in person anyways. And then this is a bonus. You can show up in your PJs if you want. So if you're like, hey, I don't really want to get glammed up and get like Pilates studio vibe-esque, roll out of bed in your PJs, do Pilates for the cost of less than one in-person reformer class. So there's options if you want them.
Are people who own Pilates studios okay?
What if we associate Pilates with wealth because it was the only method that's ever consistently paid instructors a living wage? I want us to consider this for a moment because Pilates is associated with like wealth and whiteness. We know this. But when we look at the people who kept this method alive, made it popular, made it associated with movie stars and models and dancers and all of that, we're talking about people who had all the cards against them in terms of societal economic development. An immigrant, a single mom, a gay man who was a recovering alcoholic, a Black woman who, when she went to ballet school, wasn't allowed to touch the ballet bar or dance school, a Jewish woman who fled Europe during the war. These people are individuals who had to fight in any situation, any economic context of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2020s to like get ahead economically. And yet they did it. And they weren't, they didn't die millionaires from teaching Pilates, no. But they made it a career where they could pay their bills. I think about this constantly as a Pilates teacher and a studio owner, because absolutely, yes, there are studios out there that are like oftentimes run by people who've never worked as an instructor, who are just trying to profit off of trends that they see. But this association with wealth, when we just reduce it to like, oh, Pilates is expensive, it's only for rich people, we're missing like the whole story. And that's that we had these individuals who said, I have something and I'm going to charge my worth and I'm not going to do this for free because my labor is valuable. I've tried at various points of my teaching career to prioritize financial accessibility in terms of my business model. I've needed to like take a step back from that for deeply personal reasons, like my own financial situation, because I needed to make sure like now in this day and age that when I was working, that I was actually going to be making money for that time. So that's why, I wasn't just going to hope that something did well on YouTube or like invest all this time hoping that things would be successful on social media. And there's still so much more work to be done in Pilates, but I just want to put that idea out there because what if they were actually the only ones that were paying a fair wage the entire time?
You guys are actually charging $42 for a singular class.
And this is why I always tell people that the Equinox membership is worth it. I think they did just recently raise their prices slightly, but when I had it, it was $250 a month. And at the time, I was also going to a boutique gym on the side. And a drop-in class there was $30. In LA at the time, I think the average drop-in class was like $30 to $40. But it's like, okay, one of those classes and an unlimited membership at say one of these boutique places is like $250 a month. It's like for $250, you're only getting one style of a class. But at Equinox, you're getting multiple styles of classes because all the classes you want to go to. Now, granted, the Pilates on the Reformer is like private only. They have a mat Pilates class, but spin, Zumba, boxing, mat Pilates, yoga, bar, you name it, they offer it. They also have insanely nice bathrooms. You also get all the cardio and weightlifting equipment, as well as the stretching studios, the eucalyptus towels. It's so clean. It's so nice. Like, there's a smoothie bar, everything. And that is why I will die on the hill that the Equinox membership is actually the most worth your money, like boutique luxury gym membership you could have.
You guys are actually charging $42 for a singular class.
Yeah, Pilates is expensive. Also, don't mind my 3-week-old snoring on my chest right now. I taught in studio on the equipment in New York City for about 10 years and ended up taking my business online during the pandemic a few years ago. I realized there was a huge need for studio quality classes that you could actually do at home with great instruction and certified instructors. I used all my experience on the Reformer and on the equipment to create classes that actually felt like you were in studio with that gliding motion, utilizing basic props and also tons of body weight options. My clients ended up actually getting better results and my business really took off. And it's a whole lot more accessible. You can do a whole month for the price of just that one studio class. I even have a Reformer and I never touch it because I'm just doing my mat.
I think, Pilates, if the prices are 40 something bucks, like the girl said in the beginning, that's really expensive to me. But I'm more of a just go to the gym type of person myself. If you can afford Pilates, I say go for it as long as you're comfortable with the price. But I definitely wouldn't be breaking the bank just to go to say I'm doing Pilates or anything like that. You got to do whatever your pockets can afford. My pockets can't afford that. But I think it's great to try to be healthy, but try to do it on a budget. There is YouTube. Like the girl said, she has a YouTube channel. A lot of this stuff is free information online. So if you want to save some money and you still want to give it a shot, there are ways to do it.